Hello guys, so let's continue the next topic, that is diagonal relationship, the peculiar nature of lithium. Okay, so lithium, when you talk about lithium and magnesium, so as already we have seen in the periodic table, if you observe the position of lithium in the periodic table, so lithium and magnesium, if you relate these two, so they both are diagonally related. You can very much see here, lithium and magnesium, they both are diagonally related. And why they are diagonal? If they are diagonally related, what are the reasons and what is the consequences of this relationship? Okay, so let's look to that. So you can see, like, number one, like the size of lithium and magnesium are almost all same size. There is no significant differences in this. So the first priority, like the point that lithium and magnesium, why they are diagonally related is because of this reason. Number one, that is they have almost same or similar atomic size. That is, not only both in the atomic form, lithium and magnesium are almost the same size. Not only that, even the cations, Li plus is almost similar to Mg plus. Okay, so the cationic states are also almost all same size. So they have almost all same size. Similarly, they have almost all same atomic volume. Normally, when you see from left to right, see, if you have looked in the periodic table, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, and so on, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, and so on. So from left to right, size should decrease. Yes or no? From left to right, atomic size will decrease. From top to bottom, size should increase. So if you go in a diagonal way, they both compensate each other, and we say like almost all same. So that's what the point is. So they, apart from that, atomic volume is also same, and they have almost all same electronegative values, and almost all same polarizing power. The other day we have discussed about this point, that is polarizing power. One more time for those who have missed it out. Polarizing power means, normally for an ionic compound we have a cation smaller size and anion bigger size. Now this cation will be pulling the valence electrons towards it. So as it pulls the electrons towards it, the size of the anion gets distorted slow and slow, and finally at one time it will distort its shape. This phenomena is called as polarization, and this polarization depends upon two factors, basing on cation, basing on anion. Basing on cation, we call it as polarizing power. Basing on anion, we call it as polarizability. So right now we are talking about what? Polarizing power. So that means both lithium and magnesium have almost the same polarizing power, attracting power towards the anion. Okay, so that's about the four factors that is responsible for the relationship between the lithium and magnesium. They show diagonal relationship. Now, if they are showing the diagonal relationship, then what are the consequences? The consequences are as follows. First one, the melting points are, for both of them, the melting points are very high. Both of the lithium and magnesium have high melting points, and they decompose water slowly to liberate. What do you expect? They decompose water slowly to liberate. We have seen this reaction, in fact, that is lithium plus H2O will form lithium hydroxide plus liberating hydrogen gas. And I have told you this point while talking about the reaction with water. Sodium, potassium, their reactivity is relatively quick and vigorous. But lithium hydroxide reaction, it is a slow process, correct? So that's what we have studied. Decompose water slowly to liberate hydrogen gas. Then reaction with nitrogen, this also we have seen. I have said as an exception that metals normally do not react with nitrogen, but lithium reacts with nitrogen to form lithium nitride, Li3N. Magnesium also reacts with nitrogen to form Mg3N. If you have written Mg3N, it is wrong. Why? Why? Because magnesium charge is +2. Why did you write Li3N? Because lithium charge is +1, nitrogen charge is -3, crisscrossed, you got it as Li3N. But magnesium case is not so. Magnesium is a bivalent, so Mg +2 and nitrogen -3. When you crisscross, you get it as Mg3N2. Make a note of that. Now, before I go further, maybe you should answer them. Lithium nitride plus water. What will happen when I treat lithium nitride with water? Lithium hydroxide plus what is left over? What fumes can be coming out? Ammonia, NH3. Same goes with magnesium nitrate in water. What should be happening? Magnesium hydroxide, fill it. Don't wait for me. If you are sitting silently and just listening, sitting on the bed or sleeping on the bed or on the couch or the sofa, it will not help you, my dear boys and girls. Sit with a book and pen in your hands, and as I write, keep writing the same. And you should fill the reactions by yourself. Only then you will get the confidence and also develop interest where you went wrong and what mistake you did. So, magnesium nitrate with water, what will happen? Same as above. Magnesium hydroxide, that is MgOH. If you have written MgOH, then again, yes, you are wrong. What is correct one then? Magnesium hydroxide, bivalent. Then it combines with carbon on heating. Yes, carbon, that is soot or coke. When you take the coke and heat it at high temperatures with the lithium and magnesium, they form carbides. This is called as carbides. Okay. Lithium carbide, magnesium carbide. Again magnesium carbide, since it's a bivalent, MgC2. Okay. Then, and carbides are reacting with water. Most important reaction again is also carbides. For example, Li2C2 on reacting with water, it forms lithium hydroxide plus ethyne, that is C triple bond C. In other words, I can also write it as CH and H. Okay. So in case if you know the formula of this one, very good. If not, just write it as ethyne, which is C2H2. Similarly with magnesium carbide also, MgC2 on treating with water will form magnesium hydroxide plus ethyne, C2H2. Okay, so these are the reactions that you must be knowing and must be tracking very often. Very important reactions. And nothing difficult in this. If you anticipate, it will get very simple. Alright, next, moving on to this. Lithium oxide and magnesium oxide, they both dash in water. Do they dissolve in water or not? Are they soluble in water? Yes, they are soluble in water. Okay, lithium oxide, smaller cation. Anion, smaller anion, right? And magnesium oxide also, smaller cation and relatively smaller anion. So, on a whole, lithium oxide and magnesium oxide, they both are soluble in water. Lithium hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide, they are weak bases. So, what I am writing, the relationship will become the anomalous behavior of lithium. Okay, one more time. Separate topic, anomalous behavior name chadavam. Endukante the moment we are covering the relationship between lithium and magnesium, itself will show that anomalous behavior of lithium with sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium. Okay, anomalous and different behavior. So lithium hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide, they both are weak bases. Unlike NaOH and KOH, are they weak bases? No, they are what? They are strong bases, very strong bases, and alkalis, right? Strong alkalis. But lithium is a weak base, just like magnesium hydroxide. Alright. Then what do we have? Yeah, hydroxides, fluorides, carbonates, phosphates, oxalates, hydroxides like lithium fluoride and magnesium fluoride, carbonates, lithium carbonate, Li2CO3 and magnesium carbonate, phosphates, Li3PO4. Then oxalate is carboxylic acid that is removed with hydrogen, so I'll be getting as C double bond O minus, C double bond O minus. This is called as oxalate ion. So this is bonded with lithium. So Li2CO. Then hydroxides, lithium hydroxide, LiOH. Okay, so on this way or in this way we can say like the oxalates, hydroxides, phosphates, carbonates, fluorides, all of them, they are sparingly soluble in water. And remember here a very important point regarding lithium fluoride. Lithium fluoride, when you talk about, it is mostly of ionic in nature. Remember this point. Okay, I will leave this point again. So all of them, they are sparingly soluble, meaning very slightly soluble. Okay, relatively. Lithium carbonate, phosphates and oxalates and hydroxides also. Then chlorides dissolve in alcohols and exist in crystals. The reason why they exist in crystals, that is lithium chloride. In fact, when I write the reaction, let me write the reaction here. Lithium chloride, they exist as crystallines because of the water of crystallization, 2H2O. Then magnesium chloride also, MgCl2 dot 6H2O. So as said already in the students class, that is 6H2O and 2H2O, they are called as water of crystallization. Water of crystallization. Okay, or water of hydration. So because of these water molecules only, lithium chlorides and magnesium that is chlorides are existing in crystalline form. Then they do not form double salts. We know, like as I have told you, like potassium sulfate, aluminum sulfate, same with sulfates of sodium also possible to form double salts. But lithium do not form double salts. The sulfates of lithium do not form double salts. Okay. Then, so these are the main diagonal relationship properties of lithium and magnesium. You must have a track of all these things. Already we have discussed in the previous classes, but again I have mentioned it again. Now, talking about the lithium. From now on we will be studying each and every element and their special compounds if there are any. Okay, lithium compounds of lithium are not so much, but information is these things. These things are relatively important for JEE. For NEET, very less chances, but for JEE it is relatively important. So lithium, it is the rarest element. Because it is the rarest element, the extraction of lithium is highly impossible, or I can say it is cost consumption. Too much of cost and exact, like spending some 1,000 rupees to buy a pen which is of 10 rupees, senseless, right? So same thing, lithium, it's a rarest element, and moreover to extract it, it is taking huge amounts. The cost of that is what you can say is investing on it is very high, but the extraction of lithium is very less. So that's why it is relatively very, what I can say is, people show less interest on extraction of lithium. Anyways, but still it is there in our syllabus, let's cover it. So extraction of lithium is less and it is difficult. Then sources. The important ones of lithium is the sources. Their names and formula, that is lepidolite. Lepidolite is also called as lithium mica. Lithium mica. In India we get the lithium ores of lithium ores or minerals of lithium is available in Rajasthan, West Bengal. Okay, so those regions we can extract, but as said, too much of cost consumption is there. Then, so lepidolite and lithium mica, Li2, Al2, SiO3. See, there are two sources. One is aluminum silicates, the other one is phosphates. So mind very clearly, the formulas that we write below the aluminum silicates always will have the silicates. That is, oxides of silicon will always be there, and aluminum. So Li2, Al2, SiO3 taken thrice, fluorides and hydroxides mixture twice. Then spodumene. Okay, this is also an important name. The questions could be like this. They'll give you four ores or four minerals and say which among them is not an source of, or which is not a source of the lithium, or which is not a source of sodium, or which is a source of sodium. Out of four you must be identifying. So unless you know the formulas and the names, you cannot do it. So spodumene formula, lithium aluminum, as said aluminum silicates. So lithium aluminum SiO3 taken twice. Petalite is lithium aluminum Si2O5 taken twice. Okay, so SiO3, Si2O5 taken twice. And lastly, trifilite. Trifilite is another source, but it is a source of what? Phosphate. So I must have phosphate in that. I think I am clearly seeing phosphate, right? See, even the formula is in such a way that the charge is always balanced. PO4 is -3, lithium is +1, and Al is +3. So +1 and +3 is +4. PO4 is -3 and F is -1. So -4 + 4 satisfied. Okay. Alright. So this is what about the sources, aluminum silicates and phosphates. Nothing much in it. So you just have to note it down and just keep remembering it over again and again. Then extraction. The extraction of lithium metal, as said, it's very cost consumption is there, but nevertheless, how it is extracted is mineral. From the mineral, we fuse. Fuse means just mix. We fuse with barium carbonate, barium sulfate, and potassium sulfate. When we fuse them, the particles just if they are sticking together also, these particles will help them to separate by occupying the spaces between them. Okay, so we just fuse them for the simplicity of separation. So the mineral first fused with barium carbonate, barium sulfate, and potassium sulfate. Then when we fuse them automatically, we have a big tank. In the tank, we just take the mineral and fuse it. When we fuse it, we have two layers: the top layer, and the bottom layer. Generally, the bottom layer, we know that all the heavy particles they settle down, all the lighter particles they rise up. Yes or no? If your mom is churning the buttermilk, you know it. What exactly happens, right? So the heavy particles there, not churning. Churning is not a best example, I can say. Simple thing is syrups. Okay, when the syrup is allowed to settle for a long time, for many days, what happens? You can clearly see that the heavy particles will start settling down, and the lighter particles will start raising up. That's why most of the syrups, they will be written on it, label rasuntadi. Shake well before use. Why? When you shake well, the solid particles that have settled and the lighter particles, they intermix. Actually, when they intermix, only then the syrup is syrup actually. Okay, medicine. So same way, same phenomena. The heavier particles will settle down, lighter particles will rise up. So I have two layers, the top layer and the bottom layer, or upper layer and lower layer. So upper layer contains these things, the lighter particles. Okay, so the upper layer will be containing my lithium, because we have already studied in the very beginning class itself. Lithium, sodium, potassium, they are what? Light in weight. So they will be separated in the upper layer. So in the upper layer, what we do is we extract with water. Just treat it with water and barium chloride. Why barium chloride? Because as said already, this lithium chloride along with the barium chloride, they both react with, if we have any amounts of sulfates of lithium, carbonates of lithium, that will help to be removed by this barium. How? When I treat with barium chloride, this thing, like whatever the impurities are there, they become barium sulfate. Even the barium sulfate that was there will be separated off easily here. Okay, so this is highly insoluble. insoluble, because we are using what? Extraction with water. So this one is precipitated. Precipitate అంటే అలాగా ఒక హెవీ పార్టికల్స్ ఏ విధంగా అయితే సెటిల్ అయిపోతా ఉన్నాయో అలాగే ఇది కూడా కింద సెటిల్ అయిపోతుంది అనమాట. డిస్టర్బ్ చేయకుండా ఉంటే ఇట్ విల్ సెటిల్ డౌన్. బట్ lithium chloride, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, they are all what? They are ionic solids, ionic compounds. So they get dissolved in water. Yes or no? So these dissolved in water. Now in this I have lithium chloride, sodium chloride and potassium chloride. Now extraction em kavali. What is my purpose of extracting? Am I extracting sodium? No. Am I extracting potassium? No. Lithium. I want lithium chloride only to come aside. So what do I do is pyridine. Why pyridine? Because pyridine is a non-polar solvent. Non-polar solvent. What will happen in the non-polar solvents? Very simple. Remember the funda. Solubility is always depending on very simple phenomenon. Like dissolves like, unlike dissolves unlike. One more time. Like dissolves like, unlike dissolves unlike. So LiCl మనం ఆల్రెడీ చదువుకున్నాం. LiCl, is it purely ionic like NaCl and KCl? No. LiCl is also having most of it as what? Covalent nature. సో కోవలెంట్ నేచర్ అంటే నాన్ పోలార్ కంటెంట్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. సో నాన్ పోలార్ కాంపౌండ్ కాబట్టి నాన్ పోలార్ సాల్వెంట్ యూజ్ చేస్తే LiCl దీంట్లో డిజాల్వ్ అవుతుంది. NaCl, KCl pyridine డిజాల్వ్ అవుతుందా? నో. సో దట్స్ వై NaCl and KCl is insoluble. They are insoluble in pyridine, whereas LiCl dissolves in pyridine. So here LiCl is dissolved in pyridine. So how do I extract my LiCl? It is dissolved. So what do I do is distillation. Distillation అంటే ఇలా పెద్ద ట్యాంక్ టవర్ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. అందులో we allow this solution of lithium chloride with pyridine inside. And what happens when we allow is we start cooling it at regular temperatures. Hot gases ni పంపించేసి at regular first we heat them and after that we cool them slowly. We need not cool, it automatically gets cooled at higher temperatures. So at higher levels it automatically gets cooled and slow they fall to the traces. మనకి ట్రేస్ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఆ ట్రేస్ లో పడిపోతూ ఉంటుంది and then we separate it. Okay, this is beyond your level. Like maybe if you get into the metallurgy or chemical engineering in graduation, then you will understand detailed information about that. When time permits, I will explain this distillation clearly. As of now, distillation tower is there. In that tower, we will separate the pyridine and lithium chloride. This is how we have extract our lithium chloride. But did I get lithium or lithium chloride? I have got lithium chloride. Now lithium chloride is kavalsindi. I want lithium. Okay, so I want to extract lithium. So how do I extract lithium? Here is the point now. By the way, just take this flow chart. Before I go further, just take down this flow chart. Alright, so now let's move to the next step. After we have got our lithium chloride, we need to extract this lithium from the lithium chloride. We need to extract this. So for that we have this next one, that is electrolysis. Electrolysis of lithium chloride. Very simple. Electrolysis ante lysis means breaking of bonds. Breaking of bonds in the presence of what? Electricity, that is current. So in fact what you observe, you have a tank like this filled with the electrolyte, and we have rods which are called as electrodes or electrodes, which are connected to a battery, positive terminal and a negative terminal. This is positive, this is negative, and positive terminal, this is called as anode and this is called as cathode, and this is our electrolyte. And in the electrolyte, very simple, what you do is take the electrolyte. What is our electrolyte? This is our electrolyte. Fused LiCl and KCl. Fused LiCl and KCl. LiCl ఒక్కటి చాలు కదా, KCl ఎందుకు మిక్స్ చేస్తున్నాం? Because KCl generates two main advantages, and most important also, that is KCl helps to increase the conductivity of fused metal. Okay, normal metals are not like LiCl, lithium chloride. If I take that lithium chloride solution, by itself it is not a good conductor, but when it is in the fused form it is a good conductor. But in the fused form, if I add some more impurities, just like మనం చిన్నప్పుడు 9th standard or 10th standard we should have studied this point, that why I say always 9th and 10th, because I am assuming that you might have studied. If you have not studied, no problem, okay, don't feel bad for that. Now you might have studied like pure water is a bad conductor of heat and electricity, right? Not heat, is a bad conductor of electricity. So when you take the pure water, add some amount of salt or acid or base, then only the water will conduct electricity. Same way, in the solid form of lithium chloride, there is a poor conductor, bad conductor of electricity. But in the molten form, it is a good conductor. But in the molten form, if I use KCl, it will increase the conductivity. How does it increase the conductivity? And there is a phenomena called as common ion effect. మనం చదువుతాం అది. ఓకే, రైట్ నౌ రిమెంబర్ ద పాయింట్ దట్ లిథియం క్లోరైడ్ లో క్లోరిన్ ఉంది, KCl లో కూడా క్లోరిన్ ఉంది. సో కామన్ అయాన్ ఎఫెక్ట్ వల్ల కండక్టివిటీ అనేది ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది అన్నమాట. ఓకే, రిమెంబర్ ద పాయింట్. సో టు ఇంక్రీజ్ ద కండక్టివిటీ ఆఫ్ ద ఫ్యూజ్డ్ మెటల్ we use KCl, and also to decrease the fusion temperature of lithium. Fusion temperature is nothing but the strong force of attraction between lithium and chlorine. Okay, Li plus Cl minus ki they are very strong forces of attraction. So then decrease cheyadaniki and increase the conductivity, we use KCl. Okay, so now what is exactly happening? Lithium chloride on electrolysis will form Li plus and Cl minus. Very simple. So ikkada నాకు LiCl and KCl mixture ఉంది. So when I first glass తీసుకున్నా or container తీసుకున్నా, electrolyte that basis and LiCl and KCl fusion, after that I dipped 2 rods. ఏంటి ఆ రాడ్స్ అంటే, one is called as anode, which is made up of graphite anode. మనం బ్యాటరీస్ కనుక చూసింటే కనుక, బ్యాటరీ ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ ఖాళీగా ఉన్నారు కదా ఇంట్లో, ఒక యూజ్డ్ బ్యాటరీ కానీ, ఓకే, వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇస్ దేర్ అట్ హోమ్, జస్ట్ టేక్ ఇట్ అవుట్ అండ్ ట్రై టు ఓపెన్ ఇట్. You'll find very black layer inside it, and then a white coating, and then again a different layer, powdery form lo untadi anamata. So if time is there, just open it and see, but don't play with that if you have small kids at home. Okay, so graphite rod acts as an anode and cathode is our steel rod. Okay, so it is acting like a cathode, steel rod ni ikkada pedadam, oka graphite rod ni ikkada pedadam. ఈ రెండింటిని వైర్స్ తో జాయిన్ చేసి ఒక బ్యాటరీ కనెక్ట్ చేస్తాం. when we connect to the battery, automatically ఏమవుతది, the current start flowing. As the current start flowing, this LiCl they break into ions as Li plus and Cl minus. Now obviously Li plus positively charged will be attracted towards the negatively charged rod, అంతే కదా. Li plus ions అన్ని కూడా ఇటు మూవ్ అవుతాయి, క్లోరైడ్ ions ఏమైనా ఉంటే ఇటు మూవ్ అయిపోతాయి, పొటాషియం ions అన్ని ఇటు మూవ్ అవుతాయి, Cl minus ions ఇటు మూవ్ అవుతాయి, రైట్. So this is what is happening. So on a whole, all the chloride ions when they are moving to the anode. Now what is happening at anode? What exactly happens is Cl minus, which are attracted towards anode, this is the reaction. Cl minus will lose one electron and become Cl dot over the matter. Two such Cl minus will release 2 electrons and become Cl2 gas. Vapors of Cl2 is released. One more time. ఒక క్లోరైడ్ అయాన్ దీని దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళేసి దీనికున్న ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ని ఈ రాడ్ కి ఇచ్చేస్తుంది అనమాట. ఈ రాడ్ కి ఇచ్చేస్తే ఆ రాడ్ లో ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని కరెంట్ లో యూజ్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. ఓకే, సో అది కరెంట్ లో యూజ్ అవుతుందా లేకపోతే ఏమవుతుందని పక్కన పెట్టి ఎలక్ట్రాన్ అయితే రిలీజ్ చేస్తుంది. అది చేసింది. క్లోరిన్ మైనస్ loses 1 electron becomes Cl. 2 chlorines ఉంటాయి కనుక Cl2 and 2 electrons are released. Now ఓకే, ఈ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ రిలీజ్ అయ్యాయి. మరి ఎక్కడ ఉంటాయి ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్? ఈ క్లోరిన్ ఆ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ అనేవి ఊరికే క్లోరిన్స్ అన్ని దీని చుట్టూ జాయిన్ అయిపోయేసి క్లోరిన్ they keep on generating the electrons. So these electrons will be helped. How? They travel all along into this rod. So here I have what? Li plus, because Li plus has been attracted towards this rod. So I have Li plus gains this electron, in fact 2 electrons. So 2 Li plus will form lithium and in the form of aqueous. Okay, lithium ions gain the electrons and becomes in the aqueous form of lithium. Okay, so this is how we extract the lithium. So here we can collect the lithium metal over this rod. A rod is just a stick on into the mud. aqueous format లో ఉంటుంది. అండ్ మోరోవర్ ఈ లిథియం అనేది ఇక్కడే ఉంది అంటే కనుక ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ మచ్ హైలీ పాసిబుల్ దట్ ఇట్ కెన్ అగైన్ కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు ద క్లోరిన్ అండ్ ఫార్మ్ LaCl. కానీ అక్కడే ఉండదు. ఎందుకు? వి హావ్ ఆల్రెడీ స్టడీడ్ లిథియం అండ్ సోడియం అండ్ పొటాషియం, దే ఆర్ వాట్? లైటర్. సో లిథియం and potassium are lighter, hence they raise to the top. They raise to the top, and we separate them just by hand separation also. Not hand, like by physical separation also we can do. Okay, so that's what about the electrolysis of lithium chloride. And now here are the physical properties. Before I go to that, just make note. Oh, I don't know, there was sudden discharge on mobile, so I don't know where it stopped also. On a whole, the process is very simple. Two rods dipped in, we have the electrolyte, discharging of the ions towards the negatively charged towards anode, positive charge towards this. So negatively charged is Cl minus will release the electrons and chlorine gas is released in this format. So at anode we collect what gas? Chlorine gas. And at cathode what happens? These electrons are pulled by the lithium and becomes lightless aqueous, and this lithium rises to the surface because they are lighter. Okay, so that's what about the properties. Sorry, that is extraction. Next is about the physical properties. So very simple, just fatafat note these points. That is, it is a silvery white metal. It is harder than sodium and potassium. In fact, the hardness you can understand by the melting points and boiling points also very clearly. Look to the melting point, 180.5 degrees Celsius, and boiling point very high, 1347 degrees Celsius, very high. Okay, and it's a lighter metal, just now we have seen, and density 0.534 grams per cc. That's why it is the lightest metal of all. Remember this, objectives important. Of all the metals, the lightest one is what? Lithium. And it can form alloys. So these are the physical properties. Moving on to the next, chemical properties. Here are some blanks for you. Okay, I want you to just take a screenshot or pause the video, take these reactions, fill them. I am not going to fill. You by yourself will fill it, and in the class that we'll be having, they will be discussing about these reactions. As if now, just take the reactions as it is. Don't just take it as it is, fill it, and at the class discussion we'll do it. Take a screenshot of that and then note it down. Alright, moving ahead. Uses. So it is used in refining of nickel and copper.